If you like a sea of white, you will love this aircraft, but Herpa is of course not at fault for the livery, so can they maybe push the model with their detailing? We'll find out now. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A340-600 of Lufthansa. At the front of the box we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life, and we have on top of the box the Lufthansa branding. And just as the front of the box, also the back side of the box proves that Herpa is actually capable of making halfway decently looking boxes for their models. We don't need to have these silly cutouts, but could instead, for example here, have a lovely little rendition of the aircraft with this lovely front view. This actually looks decent, Herpa, why not make that more? And here she is, the Airbus A340-600 in the new Lufthansa livery. So the box design could convince us much more than usually, so perhaps the aircraft model can also live up to that. Let's find out by taking a closer look. And we start off with the tail section of the aircraft, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the Lufthansa branding on the new dark blue background. It is dark blue, it is not black, although it can be difficult to see that sometimes. The color is very difficult to replicate. I still think that Herpa generally maybe is a little bit too dark in the tone, but I really can't blame them, because even Lufthansa didn't get it right when they started using this new livery. Then on the fuselage we have the full registration code of the aircraft, the German flag and the flag of the European Union. At the very tail we then also have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. Then we also need to talk a little bit about the horizontal stabilizers, and that's mainly because I have a little bit of an issue here. When you look at them from the backside, I mean, one, the angle is clearly wrong on the right side here, but it also is actually a little bit twisted. It does look a little bit strange. This might not affect your model if you get it, but just take a good look at that part of the model before buying it to make sure that it is not an issue affecting your model. Then on top of the fuselage we also have the addition of this lovely little sat dome. I do think that looks rather nice. And then of course we can move on to the front of the aircraft, where we across the fuselage then have the writing of Lufthansa, and next to the cabin door we have the little yellow square. That's the last part of the Lufthansa yellow that is still used on their aircraft. Then we also have the aircraft type specification and the name of the aircraft, as well as the Star Alliance logo, of which Lufthansa of course is a founding member. And underneath the cockpit windows we then have the Lufthansa branding once more. But if you are looking out for more details around the cockpit section, well then I will have to disappoint you, because other than the cockpit windows and the window wipers you won't get more. And I don't know what Herpa has done, if they have updated something here, but I actually find the cockpit windows to look rather strange. I don't know if it's the placement or if they have changed the size of them. I don't know what it is, but this has definitely looked better in the past. And then we come to the engine nacelles, which have also been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, which of course is not the fault of Herpa, but I've said it many times before, when aircraft are that white, the lack of details that Herpa Wings gives us in the print really becomes very noticeable, in my opinion. The physical detailing of the engine nacelles, however, I think is very nice. I think Herpa is doing great with that, and if you, for example, look into the engines from the front, we can very nicely see the engine fan blades. Then if we move on again, we can then take a quick look at the wings, and if you start off here with the top side, we can see the different flaps, slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely, but that's also again it. Nothing else here other than a sea of white, which is continued on the underside of the wings. The physical detailing is alright, which we can also see here on the winglets, but the livery really does not help out Herpa when they are being so stingy with any printed details. And then we come to the landing gear. On first glimpse, I think Herpa has done a decent job. It does look alright, but why does it need to be that tall? That just makes no sense. The same goes for the front landing gear. On first glimpse, it looks alright, but it is extremely tall, way taller than it used to be. Why? And also here again, just a few printed details would really have helped out this model a lot. And then last but not least, despite Herpa really holding back when it comes to detailing in the print, they did, however, give us the doors to the cargo compartments, as we can see here in the back of the aircraft, and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A340-600 in the new livery of Lufthansa in Scale 500 of Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, you will probably not be surprised when I say that this is a very mediocre model from Herpa Wings. The print itself is fine. I'm personally not a fan of the Lufthansa livery on the A340-600. I think this is definitely the aircraft that is suiting the livery the least, because it just gets white and white and white and so much white. It then of course is really not helped out when Herpa is extremely stingy with even the most basic of details that they could add and should add in the print. And yes, I did notice that Herpa added like these two small red circles, which I guess are some sensors on one side of the aircraft here at the front, but that's all we get. Everything else are just the basic details of an aircraft. And of course, this is not unusual. I mean, this aircraft is not more stingy with print details than any of the other models from Herpa Wings, but with a white livery, it just becomes so much more noticeable. And the cockpit section, and especially the cockpit windows, just looks awful. If you look at earlier versions of the A340-600 from Herpa Wings, it looks so much better. So I really don't understand how Herpa can change details that don't need to be changed, and when they then do it, they make them worse. It makes no sense. So no, I would not recommend this aircraft model, especially when you consider that it will cost you around 33 euros for this. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. And with that huge disappointment, it is time to end today's video. Nonetheless, I hope you have enjoyed this review, and if you have so, then feel free to leave a like. That really does help us out. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.